While it is sensational to expose the things that Masons, Satanists, and other evil groups are doing, this exercise tends to point the finger at others than ourselves for the responsibility of our present-day demise. Would it not be valuable to discuss the violations we perpetrate that bring upon us the punishment of these non-Catholic groups? For example, Mother Teresa once said, abortion leads to war. Would it not be helpful to shift the emphasis of the areas of our concern?
Well, I think there's two things. First of all, I hope that we don't give the impression that it's only other people. I believe, first of all, that by not listening to Our Lady of Fatima, I think that's what is the sin of the world? Our Lord said. He said, because they have not believed in me. What is the sin of our century? Not believing in Our Lady of Fatima. So it's because the refusal of belief that have brought down the destruction of Jerusalem. And yes, there was all sorts of different people, of different groups, plotting this way and that way, but eventually it brought about, but all of these people, the Masons, the Communists, the Satanists, all of them are instruments of God. And they may think that they're fighting God, but they're serving God, liking it or not. As Lucy said, many times the Blessed Virgin Mary told me and my cousins, Jacinta and Francesco, that Russia is the instrument of chastisement chosen by heaven to punish the whole world, unless we obtain the conversion of the whole world, unless we can obtain the conversion of that poor nation. The only way to obtain the conversion of that poor nation is the consecration of Russia. And so, there are, I'm sure, good people in Russia, as there are good people in other parts of the world. But nevertheless, for the Third World War, or for the punishment of the whole world, Russia is the instrument of chastisement chosen by heaven. There's only one way around that, and that is the consecration of Russia. And yes, there are people that argue, and maybe with some reason, that it's because we're so bad that people, when Sister Lucy said, why won't you convert Russia without the consecration of Russia? He said, because I want my whole church to recognize that. And therefore, I'm not changing my plan. It's only this way. Then she said, you must convince the Holy Father, because he won't believe me. And he said, our Lord said to Lucy, pray a great deal for the Holy Father. He will do it, but it will be late. So we must pray for the Holy Father. It's part of our obligation. It's not just here, I'm not here pointing a finger, what's Cardinal Bertoni and his Bishop so-and-so. No. We have to, first of all, know what the truth is. We have to have our, when Louis de Montfort wrote his book on the Secret of the Rosary, he gives an example of one of his forefathers who was a knight. He had 700 men, and it was in the Middle Ages, and he came to a walled city, and he entered the city, and shortly after that, 20,000 men came to that city. They were shut out for the night, and St. Louis de Montfort's forefather, whatever he was by the same name, prayed all night, fasted and prayed the rosary before the Blessed Sacrament. But what did he do in the morning? In the morning, he took his 700 men, I think it was 750, he lost 50 of them, he took 750 men, that's all he had, and he didn't go anywhere else. He went after the leader of the enemy on the other side. With 750 men, he defeated 20,000. He lost 51 of his own men. What did he do? Very simple strategy. He went for the head. Where's the head? The head is consecrate Russia. That's what the head is. Consecrate Russia, and the rest, two things happen. Russia is converted, and Russia, who understands from bitter experience of 70 years, understands the real enemy is Masonry. And the Masons will be given their choice. Stop your opposition to the church, or pay the price of it. They will understand that. That is why the consecration I mentioned of David yesterday. David was consecrated, therefore he could convert, he could kill a lion and a bear single-handedly, barehanded. Now, what man would dare do that today? But David did it. He's less than 18 years old. And who would take on this giant of a man, Goliath, by himself with one stone and a slingshot? Yet David did it because he was consecrated. It is the consecration of Russia that will defeat the enemies of the church. God using Russia this time as an instrument of chastisement of the enemies of God. But because we have listened to the corruption that the Masons put out, as a plan. If you read their plan, the Alta Vendita is, we cannot bring about the defeat of the church by a stiletto. By killing the Pope, to put it in blunt words, it won't bring about the demise of the church. No, we must corrupt the church through their five senses, so they completely become corrupted, so the church will fall by itself. And that is the plan that the Masons have deliberately followed. So when Our Lady said in Fatima that certain fashions will be introduced, she didn't say they would happen. She said they would be introduced. That is, deliberately introduced by the enemies of the church, and the faithful Catholics who are not so faithful are been taken in by this corruption that's been offered to them. When the prophet Balaam was offered gold, he told the people, the enemies of the people of God at that time, said, you want to defeat them? You can't win, because God protects them. But if you want to win, make them sin enough. And when you make them sin enough, then God will withdraw his protection. And that has been the strategy of our enemies, and yes, by name, the Masons. Let us be at least aware of their plans, aware that they're plotting this thing, and they have plotted it, and they've declared it publicly. Let's be aware of it, and let's not go out on a Masonic witch hunt. Let's rather go out and recognize that these are our enemies. We should pray for their conversion, as St. Maximilian Kolbe did, and got others to pray for their conversion. At the same time, recognize their tactics. And it's important we recognize their tactics. It's not to draw upon, oh, well, it's them that's the fault, not me. I'm holy. I'm the best guy there is. No, let's understand their tactics, and let's be on our guard against attack on a personal basis, but also on a social basis. That's why we talk about this stuff. Not just to say we're good and holy and these guys are bad. That's not the purpose of it. Okay.